It's about the time of the year where most of the real estate companies in Canada start putting out their predictions for 2025. And we've seen a few of them as of late, but my parent company, LePage, just came out with their last Q4 review and where they believe things will be at this point next year. Let's take a look at the numbers because one of those numbers may surprise you as not being an increase year over year. I'm Michael Ouzas. I'm a realtor here in Toronto. If you ever want to book in a call to discuss what's happening on the ground level of Toronto real estate, you can click on that first link in the description down below. And we are on a quest to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's pretty ambitious, but let's try and get there by the end of 2024. Click that like and subscribe button. About a year ago, I put out a similar video with these predictions. So it's always interesting to look back and see where things were and how far off those predictions actually were. If we take a look at what's coming to the market, we do have some new rules that may play a bigger factor heading forward into 2025. And while in the next video, we will talk about the new mortgage rules and how exactly that will affect payments moving forward. For this video, we're going to go through where LePage feels pricing will go as we trend through the new year. To start off, let's talk about those new lending policies, which it says will give first-time buyers a leg up. The series of new lending regulations set to effect on December the 15th, 2024, which is coming in by the end of this week. Essentially, it'll give first-time buyers and current home buyers a new down payment structure moving forward. As of December 15th, you no longer need to put down 20% on $1 million. You can actually put down less than 20% going up to 1.5 million. So that's a big change coming forward. The biggest change we've seen since basically 2012. Also for first-time buyers only, you do get the eligibility for a 30-year amortization on your first purchase. So that means that instead of paying the loan off in 25 years, you'll have 30 years to do so, which will of course increase the interest payable over that time, but lower your payments throughout those months moving forward. Now there are a couple tips that you can do to offset that 30-year mortgage and interest payable. We won't discuss those in this video, but stay tuned for that mortgage video because I will outline some of those ideas moving forward. When we look at all these new rules, it's important to note that cities like Toronto and the Greater Vancouver, where we see the average price over the $1 million mark, that's where these rules will really come into effect. For the city of Toronto, the most competitive sector of the market is between 1 million and 1.5 million. And with that, we will see more demand coming into that category because to save up that down payment of 20%, if you are looking at, for example, $200,000 at $1 million purchase price, now that number drops down to $75,000, which is a much different amount of savings required to get to that $1 million mark. It will bring in buyers who can qualify for that mortgage, but didn't quite have that down payment saved up. And that's where we'll see the most activity come into play into the start of the new year. Let's jump into the market survey forecast and take a look at where they think things are going to go for Canada, but also specifically for the Greater Toronto area. For Canada as a whole, they are anticipating a year-over-year increase of give or take about 6%, going from just over $808,000 on average in Q4 2024 to about $857,000 give or take in Q4 of 2025. So a 6% increase. They are anticipating single-family detached to increase 7% through the year and condos across the board Canada-wide to go up by about 3.5%. If we take a look at Greater Toronto and Greater Vancouver, as mentioned, this is where the average price is over the $1.1 million mark. So for Toronto, you're looking at $1,167,400 aggregate price, where a single family detached is about $1,224,000 give or take, and a condo on average is about $721,500. And of course, these are average pricing. If we take a look at where they anticipate things going into Q4 of 2025, they are predicting a 7% increase in single family detached homes year over year. And this is where, if we look at those new mortgage rules and where that price point is looking, we're seeing that new price point in and around just over 1.5 million at this time of next year. Of course, these are predictions and it will be interesting to see how things play out in the future. The most notable though is that condos going down 1% year over year, and that's what they're predicting for the Greater Toronto area, which is the only prediction on a negative on this list. We take a look all the way through all the different numbers. The condos for Greater Toronto area are anticipating a 1% decrease, and I'm not sure how this will play out as we're starting to see the higher end condos start to move, which generally will bring up the average price. And Greater Toronto area, as noted in previous videos, is not Toronto. It's actually quite a wide span of areas. So if you are comparing apples to apples of a Toronto condo that's in the downtown core at a great location versus a condo that's about 50 or 100 kilometers away from the downtown core, those two properties will perform very differently moving forward. And that's also same to be said about a detached property in the city of Toronto, which the average price is much higher than 1.523 million for that type of property. Whereas in the city of Toronto, this is more semi-detached property pricing, which this year was the hottest property type on the market. Especially at the start of the year, we had 1 month of inventory or less. So basically every property that came to market was selling right away. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below on where you think predictions will be for 2025. It's going to be an interesting year with these new rules coming to effect right away. And if we see that momentum ramping up through the new year, we've already started to see it on the ground level, depending on the property type and the area. But one thing's for sure in the city of Toronto, those will always hold true regardless of any of these new rules that come into play. Those properties that are in that 1 to 1.5 million for the city always will be in high demand for the best areas, the best properties, and depending on their price point. I'm Ouzas. Thanks for watching.